Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Walk-Ons in Bruley, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge, Charles Handegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, and Jordan Kitchens back in the studio. Thank you for being with us on a sunshine-drenched Monday. Good to have you with us. Feels like the last show we did was Friday was a long time ago. Feels like
a show yesterday.
Well, since we did the show on Friday, it feels like a lot has happened.
As far as what? Games,
recruiting. We've watched
college football free agency.
College playoff games, NFL playoff games, conference basketball games, and the transfer portal. And as it turns out, that's where we're going to start today because Lane Kiffin has finally landed his quarterback for next year. In fact, just for good measure, since the last time we did a show on Friday, he has landed two. Sam Leavitt, the former Arizona State quarterback, on his way to LSU. This was a courtship that started from the very beginning of the transfer portal. Brandon Sorsby was also a target. Lane Kiffin went after both of them. And then, that's when things started to get crazy about the middle of last week when Leavitt joined Kiffin at the LSU men's basketball game. Damon Williams' story broke during the middle of that. Leavitt got out of Baton Rouge and went to Knoxville. Kiffin essentially followed him there on Friday for another meeting. Leavitt spent the weekend in Miami. And then this morning, the news breaking that he is headed to Baton Rouge. We've talked a ton about Sam Leavitt, but this is a good time for a reset. He spent his freshman year at Michigan State, where he played just a little bit in mop-up duty, and then 2 years at Arizona State. For his career, 61% completion percentage, 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 816 yards on the ground. Last season, 73 carries, 110 the year before that in 2024 when Arizona State was a playoff team, averaging 4.2 yards per carry and another 10 touchdowns. Leavitt, 6'2", 205 pounds, originally from Oregon, and is a quarterback that anybody would be really happy to have. The question, of course, will be about his acclimation to LSU pending this Linsfrack injury that he had to have surgery on last Halloween. That injury is going to keep him out at least for the active part of spring, and then we'll see what happens in the summer. I'm sure everybody's going to become a foot expert between now and August. I'm going to try not to do that. I'll just tell you what the injury is, and Leavitt will heal as he heals. But, Jimmy, this guy's a big-time talent, and if he's ready to roll at the beginning of September with this foot, then LSU is going to be in pretty good shape where the quarterback is concerned for the 2026 season.
I think it's a healthy marriage. I think it's a guy that, it's why Kiffin had identified him originally as his number one guy because he fits his skill set. The skill set is right there with, with his style of play. Not as many design run-in plays that maybe Kiffin will mix in as much, but more of a lot of his mobility running, extending plays to extending passing plays, and also tucking it in running sometimes is it's a lot. He rushed it 97 times in 14 games in 24. So it's about seven rushes. Now, of course, not all those rushes. That could be a sack. It could be a scramble. It's not a lot of design running plays. That dipped down considerably. He'd had 5 TDs with his legs last year in 24. This year, 73 attempts, only playing 7 games, 73 rushing attempts for 306, 5 touchdowns. His yards per attempt were better in last year in 2024, 8.8 at attempt, 24 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. This year, 6.8 an attempt, 10 TDs and 3 interceptions. If you extrapolate that and say give him as many games, you're probably looking at sort of a 15-5 touchdown or interception ratio. So his numbers decline this year. And, well, what kind of a supporting cat? Did he lose a weapon? I think so. That guy Scatterboo is pretty good. So, he lost that. And the team, not quite as good. And also a non-traditional power trying to follow up a successful year. A little success hangover. His highlight of this year was when they got the ball and they fell behind Texas Tech 22-19 with exactly 2 minutes to go. They took over on a touchback, and he went 75 yards and scored. But it took a minute 26 off the clock, and they win it 26-22. Gave it Texas Tech their only loss of the season at that point. So he was in and out of the lineup. He was out completely the game before the Texas Tech game against Utah. He was a late scratch. Line moving like crazy. They got blasted. Sims, who we know is just not close to the quarterback that Leavitt is, and they struggled, including looking really hapless in their loss against their rival Arizona, which they lost at home. So, guy that did not, for whatever reason, attend their football awards banquet at the end of the year. When it was obvious he was going into the portal, and his coach was asked about it publicly, he took the high road. He said, he's got to do what he's got to do, whatever. But Arizona State is not the Texas Tech, Indiana, Ole Miss, Duke, Georgia Techs of the world. They're not, it's just so secondary. We have so many professional teams in that area. It's massive enrollment, but, and some potential in Charlotte. I think it's kind of a program we talk about. Like, why are they not quite as good? And I just got to believe that they're just so down the priority level as far as what people get behind in that market.
Yeah, it's very much considered a professional market. We've been out there. We've seen that firsthand. A big Arizona State win. I don't want to use a newspaper reference that's dated, but
right, it's page 11D.
Yeah, it's the fourth story, the fifth story. A lot of those.
I do want to say I think he for a good time, no injury, minus the injury. I think he was clearly the number one target as quarterback in a transfer portal. The injury makes it worse. All we got to do, we don't have to be a foot expert, but I'll just lean on my buddy, Dr. Nacho Albergamo. The foot heals slowly.
Yeah.
So this is going to be something that's monitored. Of course, he's going to have the best of treatment and things like that to help along the way. It's also important for him, whether he's got to stay in that boot, not get, don't rush it back. But it is going to cut into some time with his new targets and some of the work that you put in the offseason.
And that's what concerns me the most. Not that he's going to miss spring from an activity standpoint. He'll be there for the installs. He'll be there in the meeting rooms. This kid, as much as I can tell, has got a pretty high football IQ. He's played a lot of football. So him picking up the system doesn't concern me at all. Joe Burrow did not go to spring before his first year at LSU. Jaden Daniels did get here for spring, but he was splitting reps with multiple people. Garrett Nussmeier was still here. Miles Brennan was still here. Walker Howard was in that spring. So it's not like he went in there and just soaked up all of the reps with the ones. He had also played a lot of he had also played a lot of football. So I'm not concerned about him picking up the offense or getting up to speed there. I am concerned about the time that he can spend with these kids in the summer because, again, since we last left you, LSU has picked up 4 more wide receivers. That makes 9 overall wide receivers in the transfer portal. Apparently, Lane Kiffin never met Dick Van Patten. But that time in the summer is...
8 is enough, as the old show, Max.
Yeah. I hate having to explain it. That's a lot of guys that you don't know. That's a lot of guys that you got to get on the same page with. And frankly, I don't know what he's going to be able to do in July. I have no idea. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. And then, of course, once you get into camp in August.
Well, I think a little bit of a panic tone with the LSU fan base as you kind of go on to B and C, whatever you're playing.
Yeah.
So to play a little footsie with Williams and still land Leavitt.
No pun intended. Footsie.
Yeah.
We're full of jokes today, right? Go ahead.
I'm flirting with him,
Yeah,
whatever you want to, just kind of showing a little interest
Yeah.
when, okay, man, these guys are kind of proud. These guys got a lot of leverage, and they got some other people in line, for his services. So to not piss him off, not damage the relationship enough with him to still land him, I think it's a little bit of a sigh of relief with the LSU fan base today. And it might be off. But we were, man, who are we going to get? Who's left? Who's left? I mean, I'm like, man, I think the guy's going to get a quarterback.
And as it turns out, he got 2 over the weekend because Landon Clark committed yesterday. Clark from Elon threw for 2,300 yards, 18 touchdown passes, and ran for 614 yards and 11 touchdowns. He was the co-offensive rookie of the year in his conference and a finalist for the Jerry Rice Award, which recognizes the top FCS freshman in the nation. He is a quarterback that also had interest, offers, whatever you want to say, from Michigan and Kentucky. So there was some other big-time schools. I'm going to be honest with you. If this would have been a year ago and you'd have said Elon quarterback, I'd have said in my head, okay, that's a nice bench guy. If he's got to play, they're in a lot of trouble. With Lane Kiffin here, I don't necessarily think that. I just watched him turn the quarterback from Ferris State into a top 10 Heisman vote getter and a quarterback that took his team all the way to the semifinals of the playoffs. So if Leavitt's foot is not healed, you got a kid that had some other interest from big-time schools. It's coming from a smaller school. That doesn't bother me the way it might have a year ago.
The guy, you also remember, he originally signed with Michigan State. He played the maximum 4 games.
Leavitt you're talking about.
Yeah, Leavitt. Yeah. He played the maximum 4 games, so he got some, a little sparingly, but got in there and had a few stats, and so he had a little time there as his red shirt, the max. And then, 14 games, last year. In the 12 regular season, Big 12 championship, and the tough loss to Texas in the playoff. Scadaboo's a damn good player. Tyson was in and out a little bit, but he is very developed. And I think that's what people is excited about. They've seen what he's capable of when he has the right supporting cast. He had a little dip because he didn't have as much. And, just a little bit different season this year, and he battled injuries this year. This was in the middle of the year when he was out 1 week against Utah and leading the game-winning drive with 2-minute warning, after 2-minute warning, the last 2 minutes against Texas Tech. So he's seems to have a little of that football IQ.
Yeah.
Kind of makes good decisions when he extends plays, looking for that pass, but will run it and can run it. Is he a Chambliss type of runner? No. He's a good runner, and he's a good enough runner that in the end of the day, he will probably have 10 rushing attempts a game in Lane Kiffin's system.
They've also picked up since Friday a pair of offensive linemen from SEC schools, and William Satterwhite from Tennessee, and then Darren Stray this morning from Kentucky. Stray's got 4 years of eligibility left. He was a fairly highly recruited 4-star to Kentucky, and so that gives them 4, along with the 2 kids that they got last week from the JUCO in North Carolina Central, Jaquan Sprinkle and Jacoby Jones. And I would expect that there will be more offensive linemen coming soon. Is that fair to say, now that everybody but 2 teams are left playing. So the class is rounding out now. This Leavitt makes 28. I don't think that they're done, but this is quite a large list of players, and we'll see. But Sam Leavitt on his way to Baton Rouge.
To win, huh?
Yeah.
At this point.
This is what you needed. You needed a big-time quarterback, and Leavitt was a big-time quarterback, and then you needed a safety valve, especially if it was going to be Leavitt. If it had been Sorsby, the backup might not have been quite as important. You always need a backup, but maybe not quite as important. I think Clark is right this second. If they started spring practice today, Clark could get all the reps. So he's going to be a factor in this thing as we monitor the Leavitt injury. So, yeah, good win there. And, well, that's it. We'll see what happens from here on out. But 28 in the portal now for LSU, including Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. We're here at Walk-Ons in Bruley.
Walk-Ons in Bruley, man. Yes, indeed. Great to watch all of NFL action over the weekend, college playoffs last Thursday and Friday night. And so – and actually, the weather was so good. About a week ago, we rolled up the garage-style doors over here and enjoyed a little bit of weather. Now it's a little cooler now, typical January weather. But all kinds of seasonal drafts on tap. You know the food. The food is just so consistent. Service so consistent. Girls over here very polite, very, very, very nice when they serve us over here at Walk-On. So we love having it, man. Mr. Ryder doing a great job. Love how the theme of like the photo mural of the different athletes from this side of the river. So pretty cool. So Walk-Ons in Bruley, man. We're glad to be here once a month.
Live at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at Lunch 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, and Handycast from last week with the first 10 portal editions on film. We'll be doing a new episode tomorrow night. It's all brought to you by it's on YouTube. All brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, helping our Louisiana farmers out since the 1930s. Well, college football national championship game is set. We watched what was a really exciting finish to Miami and Ole Miss on Thursday night, and then on Friday night we got a clunker, but Indiana could not have looked any better. Oregon beating Texas Tech in the manner that they did surprised us. Oregon getting beat in this manner surprised me just as much, Jimmy. I watched these teams play that regular season game, and I know that game was in Eugene. And Indiana won it by 10. That game was tied with 7 minutes to go. I thought that was a very competitive game. I thought if they had played that game 10 times in Oregon, you would have seen some kind of 5-5, maybe 6-4 split. Indiana demolished them on Friday night. And the line is all the way up to 8.5 for the national championship game now.
8.5 now.
8.5 at DraftKings now. What did you say, Max, last week? You're done betting again? Was it you that said it? Or
I'm done betting
Indiana.
Stop jumping in front of that runaway train.
Yeah, I did it again Friday night. And not that I've bet against them very often this year, but I did on Friday night because I thought Oregon was every bit as impressive in the first round as Indiana was. I'd watched them play a competitive game before, and I thought they'd play a competitive game again, and I was wrong.
But Charlie, but you mean they moved the ball. You can't just hand a team 14 points that doesn't make any mistakes. And they handed them 14 points. I mean, pick six, there's 7.
The only part I thought
where's
Oregon
the running
had
back going? Why is the running back so close to me when I'm trying to make a throw?
Right. The only part I thought where they had, when they answered that the pick six with a touchdown, I'm like, okay, they'll settle in. And they never did.
Then Indiana scores. So both teams have a touchdown drive, and then the running back goes into his back and it fumbles the ball, and that's fine. You just can't do 21-7, and then you kick it off to him in the second half. And by the way, Mendoza was exceptionally sharp. He was. not so much the numbers, but the visual. Man, those throws were, just perfect. Perfect.
And how many of them on third down?
They
couldn't miss
the
on
fade,
third down.
the back shoulder, away from coverage where only his guys can. Just extremely sharp. He was an A+ against a quality defense, a real quality roster. But when you throw it down, then all of a sudden you're out of your game, man. You're out of your game against a team that's playing just they're going to be focused. They're going to be ready to play. They're keyed up to play Purdue. And I don't care if that's an insane rivalry, but it's the weakest. They don't let up. And then when they get on top of you, they're never get complacent.
And they're clean. They didn't turn the ball over at 20 yards in penalties. They are as sound as it gets.
They have saying it all year. Yeah. Saying it for 2 years.
Right.
No, they are. You know what? Because he's not afraid to coach them. Whatever in their culture, they're coachable. Maybe they don't have any five-star-itis because they don't have any. He's getting guys that are 24 years old more than a 19-year-old five-star. And maturity, and age, it's we saw it in basketball and we're seeing it in football. And then you got a guy, I think he solidified that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
He's got great measurables in the style of play. I know this is just easy because he's the best ever. But damn, he was tall, thin, threw a beautiful. His measurables are Brady. Now he got long with it, but damn it, that was like Drew Brees accuracy, man. It's not every week like that. Yeah. He was really sharp, but and man, my man is goofy as hell, but he's a safe character play.
And isn't that a big deal when you're going to Las Vegas? He's not going to Green Bay. He's not going to Jacksonville. He's going to Vegas.
You just hope it's not too much of a culture shock, and he's going to be getting the BMOC treatment on the strip.
You get a 23-year-old kid with unlimited money turned loose in Vegas, and,
he just seems grounded.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it with him.
A little naive, but damn it, he's playing on that field. He's fighting like a dog. You're going to. You saw the pre-snap penalty. They had a legal procedure. I think it was the right guard to tackle him. He left it up. It was like the end of the world.
Yeah.
The guy's like, I can't believe I did that. Scagnetti's on it. They're like, we just don't do that. They are coached like – one thing about Belichick's Patriots teams, I know it's a different level, but how smart were they?
The football IQ.
The organization, the attention to fundamentals, blocking and tackling, they form tackle, they don't collide. It's just – and now he's got more horses. He's got some guys now. They got some DBs who are going to be drafted. His quarterback's going to be drafted number 1. I think both of those running backs will be drafted. He's got a top 3 offensive line. Oregon. They're just so buttoned up, and maybe because they're older than everybody else. Maybe mature guys. They're supposed to get a little bit more mature with age, huh? Maybe they're more of a coachable roster, and maybe just give it up a little bit. But he's got those 2 wide receivers. Surratt and Becker. And Becker's 6'6", making catches like that. Those guys are going to make a roster. Absolutely. So you see great coaching, but a coachable roster, a studded quarterback. He doesn't have to make many plays, but every time he has to, has he not? Engineering a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter against Iowa is not easy to do.
Right.
Against Oregon on the road after you make the pick 6, and then with Penn State, and that's a different Penn State than Northwestern. Man, he goes 75 yards for the game-winning drive in Penn State, and in a defensive struggle, the Big Ten championship, he made some big throws that sealed the Heisman for him against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So when called upon, he's been great. And one thing he could do that Brady can't ever do, he could move too.
Yeah.
I thought that that's the best I've ever seen him play.
He essentially played a perfect game.
He really did.
And I would take issue, and I love Herb Street. I know some people take issue with him. I love Herb Street. I think he's great for college football. But I would disagree with him on something he said after the game on Friday night. And he said, look at this team. Don't go star chasing. And I sense his frustration with the transfer portal that we all have to a certain extent. He says, don't go chase a star. Put together a team. Put together guys that wants to play. I think that sells 2 aspects of this Indiana team short. the idea that they just threw a whole bunch of 3-stars together and they're playing for the national championship. First of all, like you just pointed out, there's a lot of talent on this team. I don't care what they were rated.
They're going to be close to, from this start in 20, they get close to 10 drafted.
And Mendoza's going to be the number 1 pick more than likely. So let's not just say
he sealed that Friday night.
Let's please not just talk about this group as a bunch of overachievers. They're really good football players.
I think, can I help him out explain himself, though? And
well,
I wish I could have, because
there's one more thing I want to say, and
Okay.
I'll let you take your shot. The second thing is I think it sells Signetti short. That, any coach can just go out there and get a bunch of 3-stars together, and if you coach them hard, you can do that. No, what Signetti's doing is unprecedented at a school like this. Transfer portal or not, this is unprecedented. And so I'm not mad at Herb Street or anything. I'm just saying, don't sell this talent level or this coaching job short and just say, well, anybody could do this if they stop pursuing 5 stars. I don't think that's true.
I think what he was trying to say, too, though, Charlie, is they're so well coached, but they have to have a roster of guys that are coachable.
No, that's fair.
Okay,
yeah,
and
sure.
maybe that's what he's hitting on, because they are flawless with their execution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's flawless. Like, you had a chance to sit there and watch them extensively, and that's why you're blown away. But this was no fluke they blew out Alabama. That wasn't a fluke. This game got out of hand with the massive turnovers. And it throws the whole game off kilter. Okay,
and I don't think Herb Street was being malicious.
No, but he's tired of it. He's got the fatigue.
Yeah.
Who do you not talk to that's not worn out with the transfer portal and guys going to four teams in 4 years?
Right.
TJ Finley trying to go to his 17th.
School,
Everybody. Andre Ware is as conservative as, and when he's doing the Tulane, Florida, he gets, wait a minute, this guy's at his 4th school in 4 years. Okay. There's a lot of things wrong with college football, and there's no leadership, and forever. We get that. But if you just turn on the games and you can isolate it, the level of play, the whole game, the sport, the product is healthy as ever. And I just think that what he's hitting on, Charlie, that I don't know if you can go to Auburn's roster, Florida's roster, or LSU's roster and find a group that's as coachable. When I asked Patrick Surtain Sr., how's your son like playing for Sean Payton? He says he likes him. He coaches him. I talked to another family. They go, man, I don't know about college football. My son says the coach is scared to death to coach the kids.
Yeah.
They're scared to death they're going to leave. I mean, they have that culture thrown around a lot. I don't have to know all the details or be an insider. When I see that team execute like that, just smart IQ football, they've got a coachable culture.
And he's got a will to coach them, because you have to be strong-willed to coach in 2025.
Yeah,
I want him to get the credit that he deserves for putting this group together and for the talent that's on that team.
He's evaluating talent pretty good,
yes,
too.
He is.
Okay,
yes, he
and
is.
And sort of a microcosm of the whole thing is the upgrade at quarterback, because it's not just a quarterback; it's across the board. They're better. That team's not getting pushed around up front like Notre Dame and Ohio State pushed them around last year.
And Rourke was a good quarterback last year, but nothing like this.
Played hurt a lot last year, too, which, in fact, he doesn't have the measurables. No. But he helped them get to a point to build some momentum, even in a schedule-driven type of record. That schedule was – those teams were bad. The 10 teams they won, they were just bad. But they did, and they demolished them. But the line of scrimmage was better. The quarterback was better. The weapons were better. The DBs are better. And when you have success, guys are going to be more coachable. And so he's got a couple of skins on the wall. And now he's just coaching guys and keeping up his intensity instead of coming out with these goofy quotes trying to promote his problem. No, the program's promoted now. If only they had a fan base.
That thing couldn't have been more red if it was a 79 Falcons in there, man, with the old red uniforms.
Live at Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, just trying to bounce back from a long but fun weekend of sports. A lot went down. Just it's been a bit sluggish this morning, but that's because there's just so much to get to.
Man, the NFL playoffs delivered. We thought we were going to have a dud to start off with, and it started off as a dud. 14-0 Rams, and What a game, man. Couple of multiple fourth quarter lead changes, and the probable MVP. I'll tell you what, that game went and throw and catch about as good as you can do. It was perfect coverage, man. But was it 2 overs on Saturday, 3 unders yesterday? Where did the public win or lose this past weekend?
Yeah, public was a big winner on the Bears-Packers game. No surprise there, being our footprint in the Midwest. And,
right.
Any games that went over were tended to be bigger winners just because we're more likely to be a winner than a loser because of the amount of money we take on props. One of the big reasons that some of the games like the Patriots-Chargers game was a big win for the sportsbook was because none of the props hit because it was a low-scoring game. The overs didn't hit. But the Bears-Packers game, a lot of people scored. Overs hit. We took a lot of different types of bets. Same with Eagles 49ers, not as high scoring. That was a win for us. But the 2 biggest wins for the public were on the Bears-Packers game and the Panthers-Rams game. And even though we took a lot of money on the Rams to cover 10.5, there are a lot of people who bet Panthers live. And, I don't think people talked enough about the previous matchup between the 2 teams, and the Panthers just ran roughshod over the Rams. The Rams, can play with their food from time to time. But I'm just, across the board, such a good Saturday, Sunday of football. Patriots, Chargers wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing. Same with the Eagles, 49ers, but just competitive football right down to the wire in all 5 or 6 games.
Hey, Troy, when you have a Saturday night game, and it's kind of a social night, too, so people are going out and doing things and different functions, I'm wondering about the position of that Chicago-Green Bay game where we've seen this team do it before. How many times when they're losing at the 2-minute warning do they win this year? And I'm just wondering if there was a little extra anticipation of a comeback for Chicago. Maybe when they scored their first touchdown in the second half, maybe you got a little flurry of in-game support on them.
Yeah, we did. We didn't get nearly as much as I would expect, at least not at the long odds. I think the longest you could have gotten them were like 13-1 maybe. I think because they've done it so often, it wasn't going to get to the 18-1, 20-1 live. It's interesting. Bears-Packers was the most wagered on game of the weekend across all sports. But in terms of the NFL games, it was the second least popular in terms of bets. And I think that has a lot to do, like you mentioned. It's a Saturday, 8 p.m. game, East Coast time. People are out and about. So people who are betting, we took a lot of money. But, we took far more money on the Eagles 49ers. Far more tickets on the Eagles 49ers. And that was, mid-afternoon on Sunday, which is going to get people hunkered down on the couch, lots of people betting. So the money was certainly there. Even if we had less people, but still we're talking 6-figure tickets on each of these games.
Troy, the games being so close and having a high level of entertainment, TV ratings usually equate or correlate to handle. And do you get a little spike of more traffic with the betting because the games were so entertaining this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that would really spike it if it weren't an entertaining game is if it was just, really, really strong odds, a line that everyone was hammering. Even in some games where the line might have been off, that Eagles 49ers game, I think I was, on Friday, I said I was heavily on the 49ers to plus 4.5, and by the time that game went off, it was plus 6, so I think that line was off. But, just the sheer fact of when it was placed, you get East Coast. That's a 1 p.m. East Coast game, which is a great time. Obviously, 1 p.m. West Coast, 4 p.m. East Coast. So, yeah, I do think it matches up, and I'm not sure if the ratings have come in, but I would have to imagine it's going to be an all-timer just because every game kept getting better and better.
Troy, what are we looking at for tonight's game, the last of these of the wild card round, Houston at Pittsburgh?
Like I mentioned, because of our footprint in the Midwest, and obviously Pennsylvania is a big part of that, certainly more on the eastern part of the Midwest. But, I would think the Texans were backed by a lot more money than they are. Right now, 58% of the money and 54% of the tickets on the Texans outright at minus 159. 59% of the money and 53% of the spread tickets are on the Texans at minus 3. I figured those would be stronger. The Steelers, this is where they usually bow out. They're an average, slightly above average team. The Texans have one of the 3 best defenses in the NFL, and I think their offense has been a little bit underappreciated, just given that they've been bouncing around running backs, and C.J. Stroud is still trying to recover from that sophomore slump. But I think the Texans should be back by about 70% of the money here tonight. But I think because we take so much action on the Steelers, that's what really is shifted in the other direction. Our over/under, it's 38 is the over/under tonight, and yet 52% of the money's on the under, and only 54% of the tickets on the over. So that is about as low as you can get for a playoff game, and people still are not sure if 38 will get hit.
Troy, who you like tonight?
I like the Texans. I like the Texans outright. I like the Texans to cover. I'm not sure on over/under. I think this could be, a 21-20 game or 24-20. I think it's going to be the low 20s, but I don't love that number. But I do like the Texans. I think they are just a superior team to the Steelers. Certainly home field advantage may play a little bit into it. But I think the Texans, the defense, should, get the job done. And here's an interesting trend. Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown an interception in 7 straight games. I think he throws an interception tonight. I've just been a big fan of the Houston defense, and I think they come ready to play.
Troy, I forgot to rag you last week, man. That second-half shooting performance against DePaul. I mean, 1 for 23, Troy? Jeez.
Ed Cooley is certainly on the hot seat. I don't think they would fire him this year or next year, but you know what you cannot do is lose to DePaul, and I think he's lost 3 times to DePaul. That just can't happen. They haven't been very good since their center went out with a heart condition. He's back, but they've lost 2 in a row. You put up a fight against Seton Hall, but yeah, you can't lose to DePaul, and you certainly can't miss 25 of 26 against DePaul in the second half.
No, you can't. Please attack the rim and get to the line at least. Please. Cooley on the hot seat already?
I'm
Charlie
surprised. I thought that was such a good hire, man.
He's
so impressed with what he did at Providence.
Yes.
And his teams were always tough. They were hard to play.
Yes.
Looked like they were, disciplined. I'm surprised that he has struggled as much as he has.
Well, when he was hired, we asked, is it a better job right now?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Troy, we appreciate it. Anything else stick out to you in the college hoops this past weekend, Troy?
I was a bit surprised by Michigan. To lose at home against Wisconsin, it was not great Wisconsin team. I did not think Michigan's going to run the table this year. It's an impossible thing to ask even a power conference team to do. But with that very close win at Penn State, I thought that was more of an aberration. I thought they would go right back at it. So kudos to Wisconsin. I still think Michigan's one of the 2 best teams in the country. I'm really hoping we get them in Arizona at multiple months from now. But I've just been super impressed with them. They are as clean and crisp and talented and locked in as teams in the country. And so even if people criticize them for losing to an inferior team, every team in the country is going to lose a game this year. That's just how basketball
is. How about Alabama losing at home to Texas?
Well, they got beat on the boards bad. They got beat on the boards very bad.
Jeez.
Texas shot the ball really well from 3-point range. Before we let you go, Troy, one real quick thing about the money moving on the national championship game. This is where I don't know what you guys have seen as far as from when it started to now, but it seems like there's no shortage of support for the Red Wave of Indiana.
Yeah. I was a little surprised to see it open at 7.5. It's already at 8. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to 9.5. I would have put it at 9.5 or 10.5, and some people were saying, well, this is technically a Miami home game. They're playing at their home stadium, but Miami's got one of the most insignificant home field advantages in college football, and we saw what Indiana did in Atlanta, with the amount of fans there. This is not just uncharted territory for Indiana. They're visiting a new planet. So this, I don't think the home field should play into it at all. So I would have put that at 9.5, 10.5 to start. But perhaps it is that people, the books are thinking people are going to bet on Indiana a lot at a smaller number. So they'll move it up as they take more money. And we've already taken a ton of money. Right now I don't have the exact number, but it's around 77% of the spread money is on Indiana, and I expect that to stay somewhere in the high 70s.
I want to see a line on the fan split in the game, the national championship. I didn't realize Indiana has the largest alumni base in the country.
Living alumni base, yes.
And what was it, 95% in the Peach Bowl?
Yes.
It was incredible how they took that place over.
Yeah. Yep. And similar, not as extreme in the Rose Bowl, but dominated that crowd in Pasadena, Alabama. It's old hat for them. It's always most exciting on the ride up. I got Detroit, Nebraska 16-0 now. I mean, they're down 16 at Alumni Hall in Bloomington and come back and win going away. Man, Freddie Hoiberg, they better get their money out for him too, because there are going to be a lot of people looking to get. Has not won a tournament game though. They haven't won a tournament game, and so they're 0 for 2 the last 2 years. Made it to the tournament, but hadn't won a game. If they keep it up, people keep waiting for them to lose, but now they're going to win at Champaign, at Columbus, at Bloomington. Yeah, they're top the Big Ten, man. That's a tough league. Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker. That's Machir. Troy, thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you Friday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, don't forget our friends Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. 343-1111. Downtown Dana Brown again. Whatever you, any type of. If you're just wondering if you have a case or not, you're entitled to something, your rights are being infringed upon, take advantage of that initial consultation. It is free of charge. It's easy to just call us up at 343-1111 or go to the website at officesofocbrown.com. And we can, it's one click. It pops up right there, and you can schedule it online as well. My law firm for a lifetime, Charlie's law firm for a lifetime. Downtown Dana Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you're joining us late, LSU adding quarterback Sam Leavitt from Arizona State to their portal commitments, and that number is up to 28 now. They also picked up this morning offensive lineman Darren Stray from Kentucky and wide receiver Roman Mothershed. It's a pretty good name, from Troy. With those transfers in, according to the 247 folks, who update this stuff pretty frequently, LSU now the number one transfer portal class in the country at the moment.
Really?
Stop me if you've heard that one before. Yeah.
Well, people were panicking, saying, "Well, what's going on?" Number one, hard to beat number one. Be better than number one, huh, Charlie?
Yeah, number one is really good. It beats the alternative. The portal stays open until Friday, but of course you can continue. That just means putting yourself.
You want him to trade some of those wide receivers for some offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Okay, well go swap it.
Look. Why not both? You want the steak or the lobster? Go get some more linemen, and I suspect that they will. They picked up 2 over the weekend, if you include this morning.
Maybe Mincy, when he talks to Kiffin next time, could tell him, get a Ruffino's order the whole thing.
They also got the recommitment from Braylon Moore, the center, to come back for another year, and that is no small get for them to be able to bring the starting center back, who played on an offensive line that did not play well for a lot of the year. He usually did. He was the best of the group. So getting him back also helps in
a bad offensive line. An anchor offensive line is a sore subject still.
Hour number 2 straight ahead at Walk-Ons in Bruley, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at the Walk-Ons in Bruley. Walk-Ons rewards. Sign up for that. You get free mozzarella logs just for signing up. You rack up 10 points for every $1 spent here at Walk-Ons. Invite your friends and family to join to earn bonus points here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. One of the other things we like here, over 4 dozen draft beers on tap here. All your traditional favorites, plus your seasonal brews that they rotate in and out. So come on by and see us here at Walk-Ons. the last of the first round of the NFL playoffs tonight. The national championship game a week from tonight. LSU basketball later this week. All kinds of stuff here at Walk-Ons. So, of the games this weekend, Jimmy, the Rams win at the end. The Bears get a touchdown and then get a stop at the end to win. The Bills get basically a 10-yard tush push.
How about that?
They win. Well, I got some thoughts about that. That was my favorite play of the weekend. You know why?
Because it'll force them to change the
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's making a mockery out of it.
Yeah.
Because they're allowing the pull-in, too.
Right.
Which is still a penalty. They're just not calling anything.
They basically have formed a perimeter around the player, pulling him and pushing him. And if you go in there and kamikaze this thing into the guy's knees, which is about the only way you can take him down, they're going to penalize you. So this has to go. That play, ridiculous as it was, and look, I love Josh Allen. The guy's a great player and all that stuff. He can do this, but that play, I think, signifies the end of the tush push.
I'm shocked it's still around.
I am too.
But I'm convinced it's going to be. I just kind of listening to the rumbling, that like it was close this year, and it's just they're missing they're blinded, the officials, on illegal procedures. There's been a ton of those, which are really you're talking about short yardage. 5 yards is all the difference in the world. Force a team to kick. Punt or attempt a field goal, completely change it. But yeah, it's just not entertaining. It's not whining that you can't start, and when people say, well, no, you can't or defend it better. Well, it was outlawed way longer than it's been legal.
Yeah,
abating the runner, assisting the runner. So yeah, I'd like to see, you want a quarterback sneak. He's pretty good at those too. Got stopped the one against Kansas City in the key one.
I have no problem with regular quarterback sneaks. It's one of the best short yardage plays in football. But run it the way it was run for 60 years. Yeah,
but I'm going to get my best tight end and push Josh Allen if it's short yardage for me.
In the playoffs, absolutely. And that might win Buffalo the Super Bowl. Who knows?
And one thing one time, and that was Chris Jones last year in the Super Bowl, got injured. I cannot believe the way those guys are so vulnerable and people just crashing into them left and right, that there has not been more injuries in there. Because it really hasn't. I don't know how.
How about the play after that Josh Allen run where Jacksonville clearly let them score on purpose?
Yeah.
Buffalo, to me, McDermott would question his future, should have taken a knee and at least taken 40 seconds off. I get you have to score, but burn 40 seconds. It worked out for him because Jacksonville throws the pick there on the next drive. But I think you got to take a knee and just take your 1 yard sneak on the next play. Burn 40 seconds.
I would have. I'm not risking third down. I'll get it to second down, and you get it close. Then yes, I think that's the play. But I can't start playing with fire and have a guy jump legal procedure. All of a sudden, we're back outside the 5. We got to. It's a balance. It's not just all. I'm willing to burn one down, but no, that's about it.
That would have got it to 24 seconds.
Yeah, no. McDermott's had all kinds of game management flaws in the postseason. He's been a big anchor for them, man. But he took over such a losing team. He's got Josh Allen, but how many times have they lost some heartbreakers in the playoffs? Every year.
And I'm not taking a knee. I'm falling. I'm crashing
trying
to
get
the
it to the
ground.
foot line.
I'm not backing up even 3 feet.
Well, Jacksonville was trying to let him score, so he could have easily just gotten down at the half-yard line. Yeah.
Go down there. I want to jump to the other game, but the other thing that struck me about this was Jacksonville's first touchdown drive. They're running at will through Buffalo. And for the game, they averaged it was over 6.5 yards a carry. And yet they quit running the ball. I mean, Tootin is a journeyman back, but
he's good.
He couldn't miss in the first quarter. And then they gave him the ball one time the rest of the game. ATN was running well. Lawrence had a couple of nice runs. And so I realized how good Lawrence was the last 2 months of the season. But Buffalo's defense, Jimmy, going all the way back to that game against Baltimore, where Buffalo played the first week of the season. It's like, man, look, Buffalo's got, maybe one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, but that defense is rough. That defense is still rough against the run, and Jacksonville didn't. I thought they would run the ball more.
And Charlie, they stopped the rushing champion this year. Cook only had 46 yards and 15 attempts.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the more inexperienced quarterback in Lawrence making more mistakes than the veteran. He was just a little bit more intrigued. Those are big turnovers, to start the scoring in the game and to end your last drive.
Yeah.
And it's and your place kicker misses one.
Right. The kickoff fumble, man, you set up at point-blank range, and you get no points out of that. That could have been such a big momentum builder for Jacksonville.
I think it's one that Jacksonville let get away.
That game was there for them to win. I agree with you.
Yeah, but they made some mistakes. And, and one of the mistakes is getting away from me. Man, Lawrence wasn't – he showed you that from jump. He wasn't going to be at the form – for the last 8 games that he showed coming in. He was a little, and yards are harder. Those veteran DBs, and how good was Tre'Davious White yesterday?
Big plays.
He's
big plays.
Having him healthy is a big deal, huh?
No question.
Yeah, Jacksonville, I just think Buffalo's vulnerable, but they know they can tug and get away with it. It's just a different game, and those veterans, man, it means something, and I think that's what people were kind of – that's where a lot of support. There was a lot more Jacksonville support. Both teams that were started off as slight favorites, Chicago and Buffalo, that ended up as short underdogs, they both won. Chicago and Buffalo.
Biggest, I'll tell you this yesterday on Football Sunday, biggest takeaway from the weekend, and it remains this even with the Eagles, the champs losing out, was Caleb Williams. Now you add to all of those regular season comebacks, a postseason comeback, 25 points in the fourth quarter against your biggest rival with everybody watching, signature play included, that 4th down and 8. Like Rohan said yesterday, man, there just are very few quarterbacks, even at the professional level, can make that throw. Caleb Williams, to me, there have been a lot of questions. Now you are in sync with your coach, your first-year coach. You've got a lot of young weapons. Cortland Loveland had a monster game, but they've got others besides Colston Loveland. But to me, Caleb Williams was the biggest story of the weekend so far.
Showed you some, showed you what he's capable of, man. He's come a long way. And playing in these big games, and just it's still, I think, and we saw it here with Buffalo and Jacksonville. You got to play in the big games before you can win the big games, usually. And they're getting their season right now as we speak. Now they get to play 60 more minutes, the divisional round. That is only going to help him, really going to help him later on. So, no, it seems to be a nice marriage between the coach, the new coach, and Caleb Williams.
To have Loveland, to have Burden, who we all liked.
Steele, whatever was happening there with his draft slot, he was a big time recruit. He was very productive. Your eyeballs could tell you he was a good player, and legit. For whatever reason, he slid. I don't know. Don't go to Missouri.
Carolina Panthers.
Go to a real conference.
What conference are they in?
I don't know. Independent.
Carolina, I've been critical of Bryce Young. He's not my favorite player, but he played really well in this game on Saturday. I thought, if you're Carolina, do you think they are closer to a team like, because the record, will reflect this, are they closer to a team like Green Bay, or are they closer to a team like New Orleans?
Who knows? I think Canales is good.
I'm a fan. Because it's in multiple stops now. Geno Smith got better when he was in Seattle. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield got better when he's in Tampa. Bryce Young has gotten better in Carolina. So I'm a fan.
So they'll actually, like you said, they'll before this year, this will be his 4th season. They'll extend and use his use his 5th year the option and continue to develop, and then they're going to have what I think is going to be a Tua Tagovailoa type of decision.
Yeah,
because both of those guys really remind me of each other. I like Young's elusiveness a lot better. He's got some shake and can juke people and very smart. We don't want you running during the season, but damn it, the playoffs, make a play for us. And he made a play with his legs. He can move.
Yeah, Schefter came out before the game and said that they're going to pick up the 5th year. So, no surprise.
Are you going to give him that kind of Tua money?
I wouldn't.
Okay,
right
so we
now,
got to go get somebody.
But hang on, you got the 4th year and the 5th year under the rookie contract, and I was reminded they could franchise him after that 5th year and go on a 1-year deal. They still have that, in their back pocket. So essentially, they don't have to make a $250. They can make a $30 million decision or a $40 million decision on him before they have to make a $250
They're done for the
million.
season next year. Where do you have him projected? What kind of season? Middle of the pack. The 32 starters who are going to start the majority of the games, or the most games for their team.
Between 12 and 16.
Oh, that's that high.
I got it at the back end of tier 2.
Okay.
Back end of tier 2. You're going to see a lot of these young quarterbacks.
I didn't think you had.
He's improved.
One game. I thought he did some things that were still not great, in that game. But that's how he is. It's play to play. It's drive to drive. It's game to game. You kind of get some inconsistencies with him. But it's not like he's not capable of making some plays.
Yeah. I don't think he will ever be a top 6 or 8 quarterback. But do I think he can be a comfortable, productive starter in the right situation? Yes.
I don't think he's a top 10 guy ever.
I don't either.
But I think he can knock on the door. You actually have him a little bit higher than me.
Okay. Well, that's a switch.
Mm-hmm. I'm more stable than you.
Yeah,
you jump all over the place.
I do. I'm just trying to fix that. Champs are out. 49ers, what's left of the 49ers. Man, boy, didn't you just know exactly what happened to Kittle when you saw the injury to the straight leg, that it was an Achilles? Kittle.
Oh, yeah.
You knew exactly what it was.
We get in the hang of identifying these. So.
Yeah, when you go with that straight leg, you knew it as soon as it happened.
All these, this is something what they're doing with their train. There's a lot more Achilles injuries happening. Do you have any stats? Why are you laughing, Max?
I'm laughing because there's speculation earlier this week about how the 49ers practice facility is next to this electric plant, and that somehow affects your muscle development or whatever. I don't know.
No, it's across. It's all of football. It's all of sports.
They're the most
NBA, the Achilles. It's as feared, and it's almost as common as ACLs now. And that just wasn't the case 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, to me, it's.
I heard that too. You listen.
The Niners have the most injuries in the last 10 years. That's why they kind of bring that up. I don't know if there's any merit.
What is it next? What is it built next to?
Their practice facility is next to this electric plant. Some
sort of electric field plant. It's just some kind of.
What's the Pelicans built next to?
Oh boy, yeah. We need to check. We need to check in on that one.
I know.
So
Charlie, they're
an electrical substation.
They're a little bit more environmentally conscious in the Bay Area, and so they probably don't like the plant to begin with. So
okay, I'm gonna let you take care of.
It's a conspiracy.
You sent Aaron Brockovich out there to see what's going on. I'm gonna pass that up for now.
You're throwing all kinds of movie and television references. Huh? 8 is enough.
I'm so impressed that you're getting them all today. This is great.
I watched TV until I was in high school or college.
But the champ's going out, and
I took. You know what? I took 9-1 yesterday on them to win the whole thing. Before they started yesterday, I said. Me and Michael are talking and saying, Philadelphia. Man, did you see what Philadelphia did that Buffalo offense at that game a couple weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I've never seen Buffalo work so damn hard for yards. One thing about them, they got their misses, they hit their disappointing playoff losses and this and that. But, man, they usually are very explosive. And he's got the best running game that he's ever had to take some of that pressure off. Does he have elite weapons? No, but he's got a running game to offset, and he doesn't have to, compromise his health all the time. Just hand it off to White. That's a big thing. And they still, man, the yards were so hard against Philadelphia. And then they just – how do you lose to San Francisco at home as much as they're down?
San Francisco just They are a tough team. They remind me of what Baltimore usually is. Okay,
They couldn't get a first down against Seattle the week before.
Yeah, I know, and that Seattle defense is really good. I think the
Maybe
Eagles,
the environmental plant was too close to Santa Clara.
So the Eagles probably made one mistake in the offseason, and that was Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator. He's been with Sirianni a long time. A lot of people didn't think he should have gotten that job offensively. They've been not as good, okay? We thought that Saquon Barkley would step back a little bit just because of the usage last year. But
not like this.
No.
What was his totals before the year, Max?
Oh, gosh.
Rushing yardage total. Over under.
I'll look it up.
And he had, 400 touches a year ago, I think it was. But the biggest thing that they've got to figure out is what they're going to do with A.J. Brown. And Howie Roseman is as good as it gets. Probably the best GM in football. He's got to figure out, does he want this $67 million headache to go away? Because that's what it would cost the Eagles to trade him. $67 million in dead money to make him go away. He's got value. He's still good. But, man, yesterday he dropped balls that you don't expect your number one receiver to drop. And for him, he's made a bunch of big plays.
Think all those passes were on the money?
No, but they were balls that if you're paid what he is paid and you're the number one receiver, you're supposed to catch.
Hurts is making money, too.
Hurts is making money, too. Somehow I knew you were going to figure out a way to blame this on Jalen Hurts. But
no. Well, wait a minute. Y'all sure do throw them all the credit when they win.
I think the offense as a whole is a problem, and Hurts is the quarterbacks. I can't say that that's not there.
When you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, Saquon Barkley, and you can't get a yard passing multiple times in a half?
Fair enough. But my bigger problem to that is I got A.J. Brown screaming up and down the sidelines for half the year that he's not being thrown the ball, and then you're throwing the ball and he doesn't catch it.
He catches a lot, too.
Well, he certainly missed some yesterday that I expect my number one receiver to catch. And I'm not saying Hurts is blameless here at all.
He's been as good of a number one. Did he play perfect? Did he have – yes. But the biggest thing that they tried to do, what did they try to do differently from what they did last year?
Than what they did last year?
Identifying their quarterback as a dual threat.
Yeah.
They ran him way less design runs than he did this year. And they want to try and develop him in the pocket. Maybe so. Maybe he could take that next step. But there's times in the game where the opposing defenses want you in the pocket instead of you putting pressure on our safeties to run support and then opening up really easy throws like they did. Toughest playoff game last year. Rams. Mm-hmm. Boom, 55-yard design run, touchdown. He's just.
Did they miss Kellen Moore?
Well,
you have to say yes.
Yeah, but look.
That's not the only reason.
We see championship hangovers all the time, and this is the second time for this group.
Hurts wasn't quite as good.
This
Brown
is the second
wasn't
time
quite as good. Barkley wasn't quite as good.
They went to the Super Bowl against Kansas City.
Lost Lane Johnson, also a big deal.
Well, yeah.
Just a little bit of everything.
But so when Lane Johnson gets hurt, it's Hurts' fault. Because when Lane Johnson plays his ass off, Hurts gets the credit.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how the quarterbacks go.
He's not that good, man. I'm sorry. When he's design running, no, he's a pain in the ass. No, then he's got running back strength, speed, and moves.
Well, I can tell you one thing. He ain't going anywhere, so they got to figure out what they're going to do with A.J. Brown because I don't know that he can come back next year.
What the hell are they doing coming off? This is a coach that he's going to the stands after people in the Browns game.
Probably not the best idea.
His own fans.
Yes, probably not the best idea. They booed the crap out of him yesterday. They booed the crap out of him.
And
welcome to Philadelphia. I know. Santa Claus has left the building, so they had to find somebody to boo.
You don't think Hurts is?
Hurts was part of the problem.
Where would you put him in your deal? So where did you put him next year?
I got Hurts probably at the top half of Group 2. I got him somewhere between 8 and 12.
Okay. Chad Reynolds, a legacy title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service every time you call, 296-0060. Yeah, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title 296-0060.
Live at Walk-Ons in Brewley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So LSU continues to recruit their own roster, and now Caden Durham has pulled his name out of the transfer portal and back to LSU's running back room over the weekend. Trey'Dez Green, Braylon Moore, both announced that they are coming back, which was expected in the case of Green, but it's good to have it be official. Moore, we thought it was trending that way. Good to have that official. Caden Durham. Jimmy, when the whole Lane Kiffin thing went down and Frank Wilson was announced to Ole Miss, there was a lot of speculation. We talked about it, and I thought, well, that might actually happen. That Caden Durham would follow Frank to Ole Miss, and Kejuan Lacey would end up at LSU. As it turned out, both of those guys end up staying put. So you never know for sure.
Well, the blueprint, you guys got to look at Bloomington, Indiana, and how do you get this thing turned around? And, Cignetti had to bring a lot of players from James Madison to Bloomington to be competitive the first year. Made a run, playoff appearance, got some momentum, and only improved upon their roster this year. And it's very normal for a coach. I mean, Rich Rod went from Jacksonville State to West Virginia. Took a lot of players from Jacksonville State. So what happens? You take it. Summerall's going to take some players from Tulane to Florida. I mean, South Florida coach already took his quarterback and some others,
right,
with him to Auburn. So it's standard. I just think there's such a jilted fan base of a program like Ole Miss that they are willing to overpay to keep a player from joining Kiffin at LSU. And I mean, if that's wrong, if that's misspent, if that's just taken away from your whole thing, or if that's just the way they're motivated, from Double Eagle Oil Company in Texas Tech and Cody Kimball to whoever, it's an emotional buy. It's emotional support.
Yeah.
So they're very emotional right now, and I think they. If the kicker, the quarterback, and the running back all got more, which they probably did, by playing footsies with LSU, there you go.
Well, that's good old-fashioned negotiating right there, using your leverage. We had, what was the final total, Max, of coaches and front office people that went from Ole Miss to LSU and back again?
You were at 20.
Right about 20
total.
The last time. Okay.
How many players?
3. 2 from LSU to Ole Miss. One was Carius Kern. The other one just popped this morning. JT Lindsey just a little while ago. And the receiver, Winston Watkins from Ole Miss, is the only one at the moment, although I think that there's going to be a lineman, maybe 2, that end up coming from Oxford to Baton Rouge. But it is not that big number that we maybe anticipated right at the time, because we had heard upwards of 9 or 10 that might move with Kiffin. And I think I knew they were going to put up a fight with the quarterback.
When it's all said and done, who do you think has the most expensive budget? I mean, player,
Between the two of them or out of everybody?
No, those two.
Well, it's got to be LSU, right?
Charlie, I just explained that
I get it.
They have been spending more than they usually have, and it's been pretty damn close to LSU.
We know what Lane Kiffin thinks.
And now they are willing to overspend.
Yeah.
And they finally got on the national stage and got over that hump and quit Clemsoning. I mean, they did. They won a couple of playoff games, even though one was Tulane, but and played Miami pretty damn tough in the semis. Got the lead with a minute to go.
Yeah.
Go to the national championship game.
What happens if Mars loses and Chambliss has to go pro?
They go pro.
No. But what do you think that we just
Simmons is leaving?
Simmons
is leaving?
Simmons is at Missouri. Yeah, they did get Deuce Knight from Auburn, this weekend, but he hadn't played at all. So
wait, where did he come from?
Auburn.
What does he play? What position?
Quarterback.
Oh no, their quarterback was too strong to crack into. Yeah, no doubt.
Played really well against
Mercer.
Against Mercer, he was really good.
No, I'm telling you, he can't be that good if he couldn't. If they,
I agree with you. We asked questions about Auburn the whole year.
He can develop though,
but. We just talked about the LSU getting Sam Leavitt. Look, the quarterback market is thinning considerably. If they don't get Chambliss back, what does that do? What's he worth on over-under wins?
A lot.
3?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, they got.
You go from 9-3 to 6-6.
No argument about that. And Ole Miss has got the founder of their collective is a Mississippi trial lawyer. He's joining Mars. Case is in Missouri.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
What did I say?
Missouri.
Oh,
Case of
Mississippi.
Mississippi with an Ole Miss.
I
do love Missouri. My favorite SEC school. my favorite Big 8 school. Case is in Mississippi, but what if they lose?
What I'm going to miss with the Rebels, the Runts being out of the spotlight now? You know what I'm going to miss?
Please tell me.
About every 8th time somebody says the school's name, it's Old Miss.
Old Miss. And here I thought you were going to tell me the videos with Mincy at the games.
I've got Mincy fatigue way before that, so
he was a little overexposed. Maybe.
I used to, and you would think he had never been trained to tip. You know how I am.
Yeah, not in this group.
Not in this group.
Not with this group.
No. Oh.
That's.
It was what they call the Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
Mincy and Barry the bartender.
I do remember that.
Put a penny on my card. You're not using your card.
I do remember that. So that's Caden Durham coming back to LSU. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store.
Caden Durham and Mincy. Thanks,
yes.
Charlie.
Yeah, well,
Missouri.
Ole Miss. We don't miss a show on Ole Miss.
Old
right?
Miss.
Yeah. Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, now open in LaRose and Lockport right now. Big website savings on the website. Ton of things that you can get maybe that looking ahead towards spring for a little bit of spring cleaning. You get a big discounts on a lot of your cleaning supplies, your storage supplies going into the spring. Outdoor cooking, of course, if you're looking for baseball tailgating right around the corner. Outdoor power equipment, patio furniture, cordless power tools. Get it at the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store. Go to thethibodeaustore.com. You get to all 4 properties from that site. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. A little something for everybody at the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store. We'll take a break here at Walk-Ons in Brewley. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Walk-Ons in Brewley, live at lunch. Come on by and see us. Over 4 dozen brews on tap here, including their seasonal brands that they bring out. Change them out a little bit in addition to all of your regular favorites here at Walk-Ons in Brewley. Watching the last game of the NFL playoffs last night, the Sunday night game in New England, watching Justin Herbert. Have we sent somebody to check on him today? Because when I was watching that game, there was only one name that came to mind, Jimmy. Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
Not the Kentucky receiver, the old boxer that Larry Holmes almost beat into a coffin, basically, 40-some-odd years ago. Herbert took as much of a beating last night as any quarterback I've seen this year. I mean, he absolutely got pulverized last night. They hung in the game for a long time because their defense played well. But, man, what a beating he took.
Like Cobb on the ropes the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been all year, Charlie.
Yeah.
He has taken a beating, man. And, when they lost their tackles, he loses both his tackles. I mean, Harbaugh is going to – it's a big deal for him. He's got to try and loosen up a little bit on the game management, though. I think they're balanced. I think there's feel in the game, but he is. Some guys are just go for it all the time, just so extreme.
Yeah.
He's on the other end, and it's just. I like somebody that's kind of in the middle a little bit, who's kind of picks their spots a little bit. Lord knows you got a quarterback, and he's done everything he can. But in the end, it's not getting done. I don't know, man. It's.
Maybe our man Hester could help us out a little bit with this Charger curse, because since they drafted Herbert, they have tried really hard to put the best offense around him that they can. Since they took Herbert in the 20 draft, 7 of their top 10 picks, their first or second round pick, have been on offense. Yeah. And Rashawn Slater was out of Northwest, was fantastic. Now, the guard they took out of Boston College, Johnson, has not panned out, but he's still a starter. Alt was hurt. Amarian Hampton was hurt this year. Quentin Johnson from TCU, I can take or leave. I think his hands are not really good. I like the receiver from Ole Miss, Trey Harris, better than I like Johnson, actually, because I think he actually catches the ball. But God bless them, they've tried.
Johnson, he's just inconsistent. He can make that play every now and then.
He's got his talent level is
big old guy can run like that.
Yeah, his hands are suspect. So they have tried. We talk about, had the Bengals really tried to protect Joe Burrow? Have they put the resources into it? And on top of all that, they signed Mekhi Becton, who was one of the top guards in free agency last year. He was with Philadelphia. He had a good year with Philadelphia. Now, he wasn't good when he was with the Jets, but the Jets had him at tackle. He had a good year at guard for Philadelphia. He had a lousy year.
Charlie Trevor Penny starting for him right now.
Well, they got him out. They ended up going. They got Becton back, so they got the two starting guards and the starting center, who they started the season with. They ended the season with. They're just not good.
Deculus has had to play for him.
Deculus had to play for him in the latter parts of the season. So, God bless them. They tried. What did you think of Drake May last night?
The yards are hot. It's more of a defensive game in the playoffs. I thought he was fine. I mean, the Chargers they shorten that game, man. You have less possessions, less snaps, and but I think May, for his first playoff game was fine. That's a good defense he was going against. And I thought that, the Chargers defense played pretty well. And but he just gets better and better to me. It didn't light up the scoreboard, didn't light up statistically, but made a lot of winning plays.
The touchdown pass that he threw at the end over James, that was a major league throw. He's
been making a bunch of them this year.
Yeah, that was beautiful. You're right. He didn't, set the world on fire last night, but for your first playoff game, I'll take it.
It's playoff inexperience will make such a big deal out of. Whether it's funny, man. Even in Major League Baseball, basketball, we know, man. All of a sudden, this veteran who's just kind of mediocre, boy, a lot more valuable. A lot more effective than some of the inexperienced guys in the NBA playoffs and the pros. So when you get there, not to try and get frustrated because you're not getting these chunk yardage plays as frequently as you do in the regular season. And I thought he was fine. I think he's got a great coaching staff to deal with. Rowe loves McDaniels, and Vrabel sitting in the nose. I mean, there's very little mental mistakes on this Patriots team right now. And that's why I think Vrabel's going to win the award. There's a lot of worthy guys this year. It's not like it's clear-cut, because it's not. Some really good jobs. And, but he is, although he's not his position coach, I think he's benefiting. I think everybody's benefiting. I just referenced New England teams as being so versatile, being so football IQ driven.
Yeah.
Vrabel, how did they use Vrabel? They use Vrabel to tackle eligibles.
Yeah.
They use him as a linebacker. He's calling the signals.
I'm a big Vrabel fan,
Yes.
and I'm a big Josh McDaniels fan as an assistant coach.
Yeah, well,
he's one of those guys where really good assistant coach, not a good head coach.
Couldn't wait to get him out of there as a head coach.
Right, but as an
Couldn't wait.
assistant, Dennis Allen, okay?
Dennis Allen had a good night Saturday night.
Didn't like him as a head coach, as a
he
defensive
makes some
coordinator. I'm
adjustments,
fine.
huh?
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley, another good one. Yeah.
Much better as an assistant than a head coach.
I want to get to some SEC basketball before we run out of time completely because we had some upsets on Saturday. Alabama loses
Shocker.
at home.
Double-digit favorite at home. This is not Texas' year. Total rebuilding year for Miller. Shocker.
Texas out-rebounded them by 10, shot 42% from 3 on the road. Pretty out of character for them to play at that level. Arkansas got blown out at Auburn.
I've been waiting for an Auburn blowout. They were on their way to blowing out Texas A&M. On a Tuesday night before that, the 37-point run. Auburn. We're going to see some inconsistencies out of Auburn this year. But Arkansas, hey, they're still 2-1, and they're off to a good start. And Acuff Jr. is legit. Yeah, broke away late, but Auburn played really well.
Auburn out-rebounded them by 9, shot 45% from 3-point, but they were at home.
Could not fall to 0-3. You see,
right.
It was a desperate spot for them. It was a tough one at Georgia on the road, and then again where A&M, that 37-6 run in the second half.
Florida blows Tennessee out by 24 points. 18 turnovers for Tennessee, and they missed 10 free throws. That'll do it on the road.
Florida, when it's come to tournament time, they're the most talented team in the league, and they're dealing with some championship hangover. I worry about the young coach. Kind of just look at his bench and tell me if you don't see some distraction. So, anyway, but
you mean the 7'9" kid?
No,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the blondes of all ages. So anyway, so.
They also got a 7'9" kid.
But man, didn't you get in a little trouble to begin with? I don't know. So anyway.
Just a little bit.
But they when they get going, they have so many new pieces, and they show signs that they just have the most talent. The kid, the Ivy League transfer guard, is getting a little bit more comfortable game by game, and when he gets a free look, he's knocking them down now. So he's getting comfortable with his new surroundings, but. But Tennessee, what is a given with Tennessee? They're going to play. They're not as good defensively. They're not. Houston's not quite as good defensively. They're still good. But Tennessee, that given, they got more firepower, but they're giving up way more points and way more higher shooting percentages, opponent shooting percentage, than they usually have with Barnes and that long tenure in Knoxville.
And in the last game of the night, Kentucky had opened up 0-2. Mississippi State had opened up 2-0, and both of those would have probably surprised people at the beginning of the season. And Kentucky blows out State. Wildcats will be here on Wednesday night. State shot 3 of 20 from three-point range, and Kentucky shot 55% from the floor. So not a whole lot to analyze there. But Kentucky coming here on Wednesday night.
It was tight for a while. And then they blew it out.
It was a 5-point game at the half.
Yeah, it was tight for a while.
Kentucky just shot the ball so much better. LSU.
I'm worried about Pope a little bit. I know
It's been a
people
rough
year.
It's been a rough year.
Didn't you think on such late notice he put together a competitive roster? They made it to the tournament, but they were maybe ahead of schedule. So why wouldn't their roster just be better, that much better this year, with a whole full season devoted strictly to developing your roster? And they're not as good.
I'll give him credit for one thing. He knew he had problems early. You remember that showcase game that they had, and he's 45 minutes late to the press conference because he's in there and they're bouncing off the walls in the locker room. I forgot who they played. It was one of those big showcase games that they played Duke or Michigan State or whoever it was, and he was way, way late. He knew he had problems early on with that group. And Vanderbilt, who was a 14-point favorite over LSU, ends up winning by 11. Tigers were down 14 at the break. They cut it to 7 in the second half. Could get no closer. DJ Thomas still not playing for LSU.
He's coming back on Wednesday?
Day to day, says Matt McMahon. So do with that what you will.
From Michigan State, they lost by 17.
That's, I think, the game where he was
Kentucky.
It was very, very late to the press conference, and they knew they had problems early on, whether they can fix them or not.
Yeah, they that one was. Where did they play that game? Neutral. They played in New York
Chicago?
at Madison Square Garden.
That's right.
Yeah. Madison Square, but lost at Rupp against North Carolina and Gonzaga back-to-back earlier this year. So I was surprised. Indiana had a 16-point lead against Nebraska, and Nebraska came back and beat them.
That's when the world was Indiana's oyster. They win the football game Friday night. They're up 16 on an undefeated team the next day, but couldn't hold on.
Well, they need to start paying attention to what they're good at. Forget that basketball BS.
When Kyle Schwarber there out for the coin toss on Friday night?
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He was one of their honorary representatives, captains, whatever. Indiana baseball, right?
Former Cubby, huh?
Yeah, former Cubby.
I had to reach out to Hunt.
Bregman.
Oh, Bregman.
Yeah. I mean, I hope his wife, capitalized while she could. Asked him for whatever she needed. It had to go down Saturday night, huh? He was in the giving mood.
He don't miss many Cubs innings as it is. Not games, innings.
The little guy, whatever toy, no, it's a little light on Christmas, Dad. Come on, give me this toy, huh?
What's 162 times 9? How many innings? Hunt's going to miss about 0.5% of those next year.
And I'll tell you one thing about Bregman. Sort of a little bit warning track power kind of deal. He gets a short porch left in Houston. He gets one there, and then he gets the basket in Wrigley.
He can pull it.
He's got he'll hit his 25 home runs in Wrigley Field. We're over here at Walk-Ons in Brewley today. We're here once a month on a Monday, as we love coming over here. They treat us so well. Consistency with the food, the service. The ball games are on, and all kinds of specials also. And we're not too far away from the outdoor cornhole tournaments over here. So Max is one of the ringers that we have over here in the Brewley cornhole team. Tomorrow, we're back on Lee Drive just off of Nicholson at Mike Anderson Seafood.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Brewley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, Sam Leavitt on his way to Baton Rouge. I'm sure Hunt will have more on that, as well as Matt later on today. Texas and Steelers tonight. DraftKings, our outlet at the Queen Anne Bally's, has the Texans a 3-point favorite tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like the Texans tonight, too, in a very low-scoring game. Their team is capable of making a really deep run. I know their defense is going to be there. They're good at all levels. I think it's the best defense coming into the playoffs. They're playing the best defense out of anybody, including Seattle. And I think it's all on Stroud. Just play solid ball. It's okay to punt every now and then, but he's got to protect the football.
For a guy in his third year, he's already played 4 playoff games and won 2 of them. So this is not his first shot.
Well, they graduated this year out of the Saturday afternoon slot.
Yes, they got out of the one hole. Total 38.5 tonight.
Under.
Thanks to our friends here at Walk-Ons in Brewley. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.